I found her on the internet. Her name is Christy. She is truly a lovely lady. I remember how I met her, too. I think it was a chat room? A collection of people just talking like a gossiping group of high schoolers. I was actually the only minor there, and honestly they weren't exactly the kindest to the new baby in the room, but I grew on them, or they grew on me. It honestly could be either way. Christy arrived before they grew on me. She showed up only a few days after I did. I talked to her first, and if I was going to be weird about it, I would say that I got her on my side first. She was my first ally on the chat room, and we grew as friends from there. We now know each other, inside and out. It seems like a small fortune to a teenager like myself, a young woman who was funny, smart, and was prettier than any person I had ever seen. It's like being in a dream that you hate for disappearing, yet she didn't disappear. She was there every morning, every afternoon, and every night. I could talk to her for hours on end. It was so simple and easy to talk to her. We'd been chatting for what felt like seconds, but when I look at the clock, hours had passed by. My friends saw the changes early on. There was a skip in my step when I walked to school. I smiled more, I sang and hummed like I was in a musical. Honestly, I was getting happier and was more content with who I was. She was like an unpaid therapist. If I felt sad, all I could say is thank you when she would help me out of an emotional breakdown. If you had asked my friends before Christy came, they would say that I was a sad, almost depressed person that would rather strangle someone than make friends with them. If you asked them afterwards, they would say I'd strangely become happy, and honestly it was making them a little uncomfortable. I didn't care though. Smiling, singing, and dancing, it was like breathing at this point. It was so simple for me to do. I could do it in my sleep if I wanted. I started singing some of her favorite songs because those were the ones that she would suggest I listen to. Luckily, we both got Snapchat soon after we became friends. It was an added bonus to our friendship. When we weren't Skyping or chatting, we could watch 10-second clips and look at images of each other because we were bored or not at a computer. My entire life was starting to get consumed by Christy, but I didn't mind. My weekends were Skype, my weekdays were Snapchat, my nights were just talking to her. If it wasn't something that mattered, it was something that I loved. My best friend was everywhere. Who wouldn't love that? Our conversations weren't too complicated in the beginning, just sending videos and photos back and forth like a daily reminder that the other still existed. Then I made a proposal. I had heard about how Christy didn't like her work much, so I said that whenever she says the word smile, she'll get a picture of me smiling. She seemed to love my smile. It always made me blush when she complimented it. It started off slow, just a couple a day, in the morning, in the afternoon, and at night. It was something I grabbed my phone for, quick flash of the camera, and I could go back to talking to her. That's how it started. It started out normally. I would send her a smile a few times a day. It was nice, having someone to smile for. I didn't smile a lot before she came along. And then it slowly ramped up. She wasn't demanding, more like a man with a ski mask. She was simply asking for more, and I didn't want to disappoint. It became 2 in the morning, but that wasn't a problem. 2 quick photos and I could go to school. Come back in the afternoon and I would be fine. Come back in the afternoon, take another picture, and my life would continue. Then it was 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. Alright, but it was only a few more. It wasn't that hard. Just take a good photo of yourself smiling 4 times and you should be good. I started taking my phone to school because it helped me keep up with the smile requests. It wasn't so hard, just snap a picture in class, yet it started to disrupt my lessons and my phone was taking while I sat in detention. Luckily, the teacher had a soft spot for me and let me have it back. Luckily, I was able to send a few more while I was in detention. I noticed a few things when it became 3 in the morning, afternoon, and at night. My cheeks, my hair, and my eyes. My cheeks were too flabby and they always cast the rest of my face in a shadow if the lighting was wrong. My hair was way too greasy and it shined with sickly color in pictures. My eyes were too large and I didn't like their brown color. I began eating less, and my cheeks slowly lost their fat. I hoped this might be enough to please myself, but it wasn't. I still didn't look right. My cheeks still showed up too much in the photos, so I got tape. Whenever I took a photo, I would put tape on my cheeks and have to pull it back so my face looked like a plastic bag pulled taut. I needed my entire face in the picture to have it look good. I started taking longer showers. Hours were spent on shampooing, styling, and making sure my hair wasn't greasy. Though, it looked great in pictures. It shined beautifully. It didn't cast a shadow on my face, and it looked nice. But I still wasn't pleased. I still did not like the look of my face. For my eyes, I moved my lamp and shined it straight toward my eyes. The whiteness of the light masked my brown eyes and made the picture look better. I thought it looked good in all the photos. Fantastic, almost. In the back of my mind, something disagreed. Then I started to feel like she was always watching me, and I had to look perfect even when I wasn't sending her pictures. I started to take my phone out and in the middle of class and ask my teacher to go to the toilet. I brought a flashlight, tape, and some dry wash shampoo. I would do a quick wash of my hair, tape my cheeks back, hold the torch out of frame, and take a picture. Perfect picture in the school toilets. But it wasn't good enough. It was never good enough. I started to notice my skin hanging off my body like flaps of duvet covers. I tried to fix them, but nothing worked. I started noticing other imperfections. I had odd-placed freckles, strange lines on my face, and bumps on my chin. My throat wagged like a fat man's. The wrinkles on my face made me look like a road map. My acne were just ugly, pus-filled hills that dominated my face. I spent hours staring at myself in the screen of my phone. Christy kept messaging me, asking for pictures, but I was too ugly. I knew she'd break me down if I sent her a photo of me looking like I did, so I did something about it. I got a small knife from the kitchen and slowly, in the bathroom mirror, popped every single pimple. I sliced them open painstakingly, watching the thick white pus burst from the broken husks. It took hours. Was my mother pounding on the door? I didn't care. But it finally happened. My face was spot-free and it looked perfect. The chin was easier. I took the folds of flesh in my hands and stapled them back behind my ears. I smoothed the wrinkles of my face by rubbing bleach onto the skin. It sizzled, but it did flatten. Then I picked the knife back up and slowly cut around the bags below my eyes. My skin burned and ached, but I just kept telling myself that I would look better in the photos, that this pain was only temporary. The stinging metal scraped across my flesh and burned at the nerves. My nerves felt like they were on fire as the blade dragged around. I couldn't stop. I found something cutting off chunks of my face was like a slab of steak. I looked in the mirror at the bloody pulp that had once housed my nose and lips. The skin fell down into the sink. My phone fired up, and it was a notification from Christy. I swiped, and there it was. Smile.